I'm Sam, and this is Baby Ready. And today we're talking about where your baby should sleep. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat that the only person who knows the answer to that question is you. Before your baby's even born, you're exhausted about what is happening with your baby's sleep schedule because everyone and their brother has a question about it. How's your baby sleeping? Where's your baby sleeping? Is your baby sleeping through the night? Are you sleeping with your baby in the bed with you, beside you, in the same room with you, or in another room? What's happening with your baby and their sleep? There are no perfect answers. What I will tell you is that most parents I meet do a hybrid model of everything. During the afternoon, when they're at home, baby sleeps in the crib. At night, baby sleeps in a bassinet beside the bed. But during the night, when baby wakes up and needs to eat, they bring the baby into bed because they can lay beside baby and feed baby, whether from a bottle or from the body, and doze off while baby's eating. And that's okay. There are no absolute right answers as to how your baby should be sleeping, where your baby should be sleeping, when your baby should be sleeping. But what we do want to make sure you're doing is keeping baby safe while they sleep. So some of the things you want to take into consideration is that if you have baby bed sharing with you, co-sleeping in the bed with you, sleeping in the same bed, however you want to say it, then you want to create a safe sleep environment. In an earlier post, I may have put up a picture that looks like a big pillow with higher sides on it that goes up in between your pillow and your partner's pillow in the head of the bed or the top of the bed, and baby sleeps up there in that little safe space so that they're not close to the edge. Both of you will have a bit of a barrier before you get to baby's environment in the event that you're worried about somebody overlying on baby or getting too close to baby or what have you. What I typically suggest, if you're not putting the baby between the pillows, is putting the baby on the outside beside the birthing parent. And this is nothing against the non-birth parent. But when we're talking about simple biology, only science, what we do know is that the birthing parent has a physiologic, unconscious connection to baby while baby's sleeping and while they themselves are sleeping. So that if baby was to have a period of time where they were in distress, whether they're sleeping in the bed with you or in the same room with you, the birthing parent would catch on to that signal from baby and be able to respond appropriately. Unconsciously, the birthing parent also will keep baby in a bit of a C where baby is close by, but not physically touching necessarily other than by feet or by arm or something like that, but keep a protected area for baby beside them. That is not to suggest that the non-birthing parent wouldn't be very aware of baby's presence, and that's okay. But I'm just simply talking only about the science that's been proven. If you're putting baby on the side, some people prefer to put the bed right up against the wall so that there's no space for babies to fall down. Other people like to get one of those rails, like the kind you see on the side of a toddler bed, and slide that in too so baby can't roll out. Sometimes it can be hard to find one deep enough because so many mattresses these days are quite thick. You don't want to have a super soft pillow top mattress if your baby is sleeping in the bed with you. No pillows or blankets around baby, and they still lay on their back to sleep. If you don't like your baby sleeping in the bed with you, if you're not comfortable with that idea, if you know you're not going to get any sleep if baby's sleeping in the same bed as you, then that's not the best place for baby to be. And no matter what anybody says, it's not the best place for baby to be. So maybe you could consider either taking the side off a crib and tying that to your bed frame so that it can't slide and there isn't a space for baby to fall between, but gives baby a big space of their own, but easily accessible to you during the night for feeding or rubbing their back or soothing them. Or perhaps you may want to get a bassinet beside your bed. Or there are co-sleepers that you can get that do attach to your bed that are designed like that, more of a bassinet size than a crib, but attached to your bed. So there's so many options available to you if you want the baby in arm's reach, but not necessarily in the bed. You could also put a crib in the same room if you have the space for it. When we're talking about safe sleeping for babies, If we're using a bassinet, then I encourage you to use a Moses basket or a bassinet that has a very short side on it. And the primary reason for that is airflow around the baby. One of the nice things about Moses baskets or wicker baskets is that they often have a carrying handle so that it can go on the stand beside your bed during the night when you're sleeping. But during the day, you could take the bassinet downstairs with you so that when baby's napping during the day, you can still move about on the main floor or in the main living area and hear baby if baby wakes up and attend to baby as baby's need. When they're sleeping in bassinets, because bassinets tend to be smaller, we don't encourage them being left alone while they're sleeping. We just like to be able to check on them a little bit more, and having stimulation around them or activity around them helps them sleep well, but does keep them from necessarily coming into an issue with stopping in their breathing patterns. If you're using a pack and play, then do make sure that because of the solid sides on the top piece of it in the bassinet portion, do make sure that there's always someone in the room with baby while they're sleeping so that you can be aware of airflow and movement changes with baby and that kind of thing. When we're talking about using a crib, then we want you to remember that the only thing that goes in a crib is your baby on their back, dressed for sleep with a well-fitted mattress. No one wants to think about the idea of their baby someday getting big enough, fast enough to be able to shove all of the pillows and blankets and stuffed animals in the crib into the corner and using that as a projectile to get themselves out of the crib. But it happens, and it happens faster than people think. And often it happens before babies are completely mobile. So it is something to take into consideration. Before they're mobile, though, truthfully, most of those things in the crib just add an added layer of risk by impeding airflow for babies or being a suffocation risk. Whether using mesh or full-sided bumper pads, the airflow for baby just isn't around them. And if you watch a baby when they sleep, they typically put their hands up around their heads so that they can make sure to keep their head environment safe. But we want the air to be able to continue to circulate around baby. No mobiles or anything like that need to be attached to the crib. Just a clean, safe, truly boring environment. But let's be honest. When we put a baby to bed, don't we really just want them to sleep? We don't want them to have an entertainment source in their sleep environment because that decreases their likelihood of wanting to sleep. Once they get older and they get out of a crib and into an actual bed, whether the bed's simply a mattress on the floor or it's raised but has open sides, then you can start using pillows, blankets, stuffed animals, whatever you want to put in the bed with them, because those things can easily be pushed out. And by then, children become old enough to recognize whether or not they are being impeded with airflow and things like that. It's just those wee babies that have such a hard time with that. Recognize that in North America is really the only place that we stress so strongly the idea of using crib sleeping and doing it in a separate space from parents. Other parts of the world open their arms to the ideas of baby sleeping in closer proximity. Many parts of Southeast Asia utilize slings or hammock types of devices that hang from the ceiling in the parent's room to fully support and engulf baby's body, but have a lightweight fabric so that babies can still breathe, and they're close by parents so that parents can attend to them while they're sleeping if they wake and they need to be attended to. And throughout many parts of Europe, parents use a co-sleeper type of setup with babies sleeping right attached to their own bed so that parents can attend to the needs of the babies as the needs arise. In places like Japan and other parts of Northern Asia, it isn't uncommon to see babies sleeping in a futon or in a straw mattress beside or with the parent, so that babies, if they do roll out, are quite close to the floor, not going to be getting hurt. It is something to take into consideration as you are planning for your baby's growth. They don't need to sleep in a crib unless you want them to. And if you want them to, that's fine. There are no absolute right answers. What I can tell you is that many people will make you feel uncomfortable if you spend too much time talking about how you sleep with your baby or how your baby sleeps or where they sleep. It is normal for babies to wake very frequently in the first several weeks of their life. And that's a design mechanism for them to keep them safe and healthy. They wake up frequently to need to eat because their body's processing small amounts of food frequently. And that's, again, part of helping them grow and develop and get strong and healthy. But they also wake frequently to make sure that you're still there. And then that keeps them safe and keeps them from sleeping too deeply. We don't want to increase the risk of sudden unexplained death syndrome, or SUDS, by having babies too sated and sleeping too long. So we keep them in close proximity so that we can hear how their breathing patterns change. You need to sleep your baby where you are also going to be able to get a decent amount of sleep. If having the baby close by allows you to sleep because you know you'll hear your baby and respond to your baby if your baby needs you, then that's perfect. But if having your baby too close means that you're going to be awake all night listening for the baby, then that's not going to allow you to be the best possible parent you can be. As I say, and I'll stress this again, you are the only person who knows how to do this right. You and your partner are raising this child the way that works best for you and your family. So don't let anyone tell you that you're doing it incorrectly. Don't let anyone make you second guess yourself. Only listen to your heart and parent from there. And if you need to do a hybrid model of all of the kinds of different ways to have baby sleep or places to have baby sleep, then that's okay. That's perfect, and that's what works for your family. I am trying to keep this short and sweet because ultimately I just want you to know that as long as babies have lots of opportunity for airflow around them, as long as they're sleeping on a firm mattress, as long as you can hear them if they call out and need you, as long as there are no stuffed animals, blankets, or pillows around them while they're sleeping, then at the end of the day, put them in a box if that works best for you. You may not want to tell a whole lot of people because people will talk about that, although there are parts of Northern Europe where that's exactly what they do. Baby gifts and items for babies come in these big boxes specifically designed for babies to sleep in. So see, there is no perfect place for your baby to sleep. Follow your heart. It's not going to lead you wrong. Take what works for you from what everybody else says and leave the rest behind. And parent your child the way that feels right. I will talk to you next time, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks.